Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FrostBytez gaming experience, part number 14 of the Pokemon Emerald walkthrough, giving you guys a little bit of a look of Solrock and what we've done with him from the previous part and this part. Basically got him up all the way to level 20, taught him the Rock Tomb move, one that I stated I probably would never use because, oh, it's got an 80% chance of hitting, but hey, sometimes I can be a hypocrite, right? And again, in some cases, it's, like I said in the last episode, stepping out of my box, you know, trying something new. But at the same time with Solrock, because Rock, Throw, and Confusion are really the only two good moves I have. Tackle's not going to do anything, Hard's not going to do anything. You know, it's like, okay, it's going to take a while until my next big move. I learned Fire Spin, but Fire Spin isn't really going to be a hard-hitting move that I need to help out with this walkthrough. The next big one that I don't get is not until I get Rock Slide, and that's about level 37, I think, is when I get it. So I needed some kind of, you know, another physical attack style move, and I was like, all right, let's go ahead and just utilize Rock Tomb. Now, we are in Meteor Falls, so let's go ahead and go over the stats of the first floor of Meteor Falls, because there's a lot more that comes with this cave in its own right, but for the area that we're at and that we're now leaving, we might as well go over the stats for it. If you're playing all three versions, you have an 80% chance to catch yourself a Zubat, so say hello to the Zubat cave of our game here. If you're playing the Ruby or Emerald version, you have a 20% chance for a Solrock, and if you're playing the Sapphire version, instead it's a 20% chance for Lunatone. I think that's it, yep, a Lunatone, which is basically the same thing as Solrock, but it's a moon instead of a, you know, sun. There you go. Surfing-wise, you have a 90% chance to catch a Zubat in all three versions, a 10% chance for a Solrock in the Ruby Emerald version, a 10% chance for a Lunatone in the Sapphire version. Fishing-wise, 30% chance for a Goldeen with a 70% chance for a Magikarp with the Old Rod, 20% chance for a Goldeen, 60% chance for a Magikarp, and 20% chance for a Barboach with the Good Rod. And with the Super Rod, it is a 100% chance to catch yourself a Barboach. Heading outside of the cave, we find ourselves all the way back to route number 115. We ignored this route at first. It's north of, what's the name of that town again? Give me a second, I need to look it up because we haven't been here in a while, and it completely escapes my memory banks entirely. Let's see here. We are looking for... Nope, that is not exactly right. Oh, geez, apologies on this. So, Rustboro City, I believe, is what it is, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. Okay, Rustboro City. We haven't, like I said, we haven't been here around this area in forever, and the town names I don't have memorized again as well as I do with Gens 1 and Gens 2, so obviously I was like, oh my god, what's the name of this town again? Anyways, yeah, north of it, we completely ignored it because the only way to really access it is through Meteor Falls. You can head up north and get yourself one item, but then the rest are blocked off by hills that you just saw before going into this tag team fight that we just went into. But if you're leaving via Meteor Falls, there is a number of Pokemon that you can go out every way to get, and of course, obviously, the amount of items that you can get that I'm also showcasing. But to start it off, and these are on all three versions, okay, so everything here. All three versions. Jigglypuff, 10% chance, 40% chance for a Tailo, 10% chance for a Swellow, 10% chance for a Wingull, and 30% chance for a Swablu. If you are surfing, it is a 60% chance for a Tentacool, 35% chance for a Wingull with a 5% chance for a Pelipper, and if you are fishing, it is a 30% chance for a Tentacool with a 70% chance for a Magikarp with the Old Rod. Good Rod, it's a 20% chance for a Tentacool with a 60% chance of a Magikarp and 20% chance for a Wailmer, with the Super Rod giving a 100% chance of catching yourself a Wailmer. And again, route 15, you can technically, especially once you get yourself the Old Rod, you could, you know, go out of your way and get yourself an early Tentacool or, you know, another means of getting a Magikarp, but the Magikarp are everywhere, so why would you really want to come all the way here to get a Magikarp of this particular area? Not exactly sure. And I think even then, if you were in a Dewford town, you can get yourself a Tentacool there, so there's no real reason to come back that way. Basically, other than getting one item, you wouldn't really find yourself going through Route 15 unless it's the first time you're playing the game, and you're just like, oh, I wonder what north leads to, and then you see a whole bunch of hills and you're like, nowhere, great. And then later on you find out through Meteor Falls that, oh, actually no, there is a second area that you can go through, you know, in order to get back to there. So anyways, we have a new member of the team in Soul Rock. Again, rock type. Don't usually go too far on my way to utilize them, but you know, hey, might as well just do something different. But that also means that we are going to be seeing a lot of Soul Rock in the future, because as you can see, he's only level 20 compared to Combuskin and Sable Eyes, who are both in like their mid-30s or so. Soul Rock has a lot of catching up to do. And so, you know, because of that, he's going to be the main spotlight for a while in a lot of cases, you know. Obviously, I'm not going to put Soul Rock in a position where he is just going to outright faint, you know. That's what the test plays are for. I know I went on my way to test and see. I'm like, okay, what level do I need Soul Rock to be decent enough on my team that I could bring him out right out of the gate? And 20 seemed to be about the magic number. It was kind of the magic number that I was looking for in the beginning. I was like, maybe if I hit around 20, I'd hit around 20, did a couple extra fights, future fights, and I was like, okay, Soul Rock can hold his own once he's at level 20, so we're good to go. You know, and probably around now, like, I should have a whole entire team of 6 all around level 20 or so. Again, the reason why Combuskin and Sableye are so high is because they're the only 2 members of the team that I've had for a long time now. And Soul Rock's going to be on our team for about a good 3 parts, I want to say, and then we'll get ourselves another new member. So it's going to start rounding out finally. I think Combuskin, soon to be Blazekin, you know, they're going to be sitting around level 30 for a while, along with Sableye, and the rest of the team is going to get the chance to finally catch up in numbers anyway. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, one thing I did kind of want to talk about in this episode, because a lot of this episode, for the first part of it, is going throughout route number 115, getting all the items and such, and then we do take a small while to backtrack all the way back, because if you remember, when we ran into Team Magma and Team Magma said something about how they had the meteorite or something to that degree, and it's taking it back up to some kind of Mount Volcano place or whatever the hell it's called. I really don't even know. I don't really care. Fact of the matter is, you know, because I decided to showcase route number 115, it means I got to backtrack to get back to where I was. Thing is, it would have taken just as, if I decided not to do, like if I decided to show off Meteor Falls and not route 115 till later, and then I backtracked that way, it actually probably would have taken me, it would have been a little bit quicker, but not quicker enough that it's like really made that much of a difference to get back to the whole entire, Mount Chimney or whatever the hell it's called. I honestly don't even remember what it's called off the top of my head. Maybe it is called Mount Chimney. I'm not exactly sure. All I do know is, again, by taking this route, going back to Malville City and then going up north, I'm already pretty much there, as opposed to going the other way where I have to go across all the ash fields, and then I have to go through that the fiery pathway again. I feel like it would have taken just as long. So I decided, you know, let's go ahead and go back and do all of that. And that's the majority of what the first half's going to be. One thing I did want to talk about is, I don't know, like, I don't want to go too much into it, because again, I usually try and stay away from drama, politics, all that kind of garbage and whatnot, because, you know, this is just supposed to be a place to relax. But one thing I have been noticing lately, though, is, wow, have a lot of people in the gaming community been delusional when it comes to the companies, like, the amount that gamers today are willing to believe a company is doing or isn't doing in some cases is really quite baffling to me. I'm not going to name like certain companies. I'm not even going to name the games, because again, that just raises a lot of drama and it's unneeded. But I don't know, am I the only one that's kind of been noticing how delusional a lot of fan bases can be with their games? And again, and I don't even mean it in the sense of like, you know, oh, they're delusional with the games because they think it's a good game and it's not a good game. I mean, like with the company, it feels like a company can just go out of the way and be like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna do this to, you know, help out the game. And immediately we're like, oh yeah, they're so gonna do it. Oh my goodness, like, man, they got our backs 100% of the way. And then time will go by and it doesn't happen. Nothing changes. But yet those fans will still be like, oh, but they've got our interests at heart. They're still good. You know, you're an idiot for thinking like, you know, that the company doesn't have our back or something like that. I don't know. Like, again, it's kind of hard for me to go into full details of it without bringing up names of companies. And again, I'm not going to do that, because again, that just starts out an all-out war and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like people probably know where I'm coming from, where it's like, you know, you see some people or you read certain comments online and it's like, really, like, how delusional are you to actually think that way when it comes to, like, you know, trusting the company way more than you really should, you know? Like, I don't know, it was just kind of something that really stood out to me today for some reason, where I'm just like, wow, certain fan bases, in fact, probably fan bases in general, just really latch onto a company a little bit too much, to the point where it's like anything the company says is like, boom, that's completely 100% true. Like, I believe that. I totally believe that. And I don't know, like, I'm trying to think, because it's like, I'm probably just as guilty of it as anybody else, I guess, but at the same time, I'm like, there's no real company that I like claim loyalty to or anything like that. I kind of play like from all different genres of game companies, really. And so, you know, to me, it's like, I've never really hard pressed onto one game company where I was like, oh, everything they say is like the Bible to me and all that kind of stuff. Because, you know, to me, it's like, hey, is your game good? And if I don't think it's good, well, then I'm just not going to play it. I guess it's just about as cut and dry as it gets when it comes to me. And again, I'm not like looking to try and like do anything with this. It's just something like, I mean, I had to fill in some of the time, obviously, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know, today for some reason when I was going through and just reading certain comments based on one particular game and one particular company, and someone was like, hey, do you think the company is actually doing something like this? And just seeing the wall of like downvotes that they got and the wall of comments saying, oh my god, you're such a conspiracy theorist, or oh my god, you're doing this, or, you know, this company's been doing this and this and this, and it's like, really? Like, you're really bending over for a company that you don't even work for, and there's clear evidence to the contrast of what you're trying to defend and whatnot. But I guess is, you know, it feels like almost like they live through their company, you know? It's kind of like when it comes to like stuff like, you know, celebrities, or when it comes to like YouTube, where it's like, you know, like I mean, this one was a little bit, I don't want to go back to the whole entire Pro Jared thing, because that was one where there was actual evidence out there. But like, let's say there wasn't, okay? Let's say there wasn't any concrete proof evidence, but let's say it actually did happen. So let's say we take what we know about the situation now, but then erase the fact that like the evidence actually got, you know, was brought up, you know, let's say none of that actually happened. How many hard, like, core fanboys of Pro Jared would sit there and be like, oh, you know, like, you know, coming down on his now ex-wife and being like, you're just trying to do this or you're trying to do that, you know? And it's like, that's a horrible example, actually, but I don't know. Again, I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, other than, hey, we're going against Maxi, so let's dip away from that. Anyways, I don't know. It's just something that's really weird to me, just how blatantly people will defend something even with evidence in their face. So I guess the best way I could have put that then instead is, there probably still is some hardcore Pro Jared fans out there that even with the evidence in their face is still like, well, you know, and still defending him, you know, the way that, and the way again, when I look at it and I see all these people defending a company that's actually screwing them over, but they're such hardcore fans, it's almost like, you know, they see their success through that company, like how others see their success through online personalities or celebrities in general, where they have to defend them because their life is somehow my life, even though it's not in the least bit. So, I don't know. Take that for what you will. But I'm just, I guess, at the end of the day, just be careful. You know, companies are shady, period. No shit, Sherlock. But even when it comes to your ultimate favorite company, they're going to be just as shady. They're going to be doing some things. And chances are you're going to be closing your eyes to what's going on because you like the company so much. Based on like a lot of what I was reading to a game that I was playing. Anyways, leave it at that. So I'm actually here, leader of Team Magma and whatnot. Did the whole entire strategy. If you throw out Soul Rock, Intimidation kicks in. Soul Rock doesn't really care about that. We switch out, put in Combustion. Combustion does not get his attack cut. Takes out Mighty Anna, and then the rest is pretty much history. Not exactly all that hard of battles to go through. This is the whole entire, oh, you're first meeting the leader, so it's going to be easier this time, but next time it's going to be even more drastic and all that, blah, 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 and all that good stuff. And then Archie's going to come in, and he's going to give you the whole entire blah, 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 like, oh, that's my favorite line, too. He's like, where, are you with Team Magma or Team Aqua? It don't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I don't know. It always just kind of cracks me up because I literally just imagine actual people in like their late 20s, early 30s. I don't know how old Maxie and Archie are. I'm just going based on like what I'm just assuming their ages. And they're talking to like some kind of 12-year-old kid, and they're just like, oh, it doesn't matter what side that you're on. Because it's like, yeah, no shit, because he's a 12-year-old kid. Of course it's not going to matter what side he's on because he's only 12. You could literally like walk in his direction and cause him to fall off the cliff, and then there you go. It's one less problem you have to deal with. But because in this world, everything's battled through Pokemon, it's whatever. It's, you know, a good way to look at it is that Archie and Maxie are the two companies, and, you know, us, the main character, is the kid, and, you know, the people that are the fanboys, and they can just easily walk me over, but and they kind of are, and I don't know. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your evenings, folks. Catch you all in the next part.